song rocks. I love it. Alright, let's get started with the show. I was a fan of that. Let me know what you think in the chat. Welcome to KO Bets. My name is Bill. Every week we do this. Not every week, right? When there's a UFC event on Saturdays, you can find me here on Fridays, every Friday on YouTube. Typically, I like to start the show. What time do I have? Is it like 7? 7:30 is the typical start time, but tonight I was volunteering. The event kind of got rained out, so showed up and didn't have to do much. So instead of starting at 10 o'clock, I'm on at 9:15 here, starting up a little bit late. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel. We're doing an NFT update. Let me share my screen here with you. I've been collecting these UFC strike moments. I'd love to support people that are supporting me, so I'm going to give away a random to a random user once we hit 50 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel, you'll qualify to enter the drawing. Yep, we're still at 48. I'll check near the end, but I'm going to give away a UFC strike moment to a random subscriber. We'll have to work together. I'll figure out how to get this thing transferred, but we'll get it over to you. So if you wouldn't mind, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. You'll qualify for that. Otherwise, what else is on the itinerary? Oh, so we got the NFT update. We gotta review last week. What happened or it was 2 weeks ago now. Let's go to events here, past events. We had Mackenzie Dern against Jan. I picked Dern. That wasn't a good pick, looking back on it. Randy Brown, that was a decent pick. I think we did a decent job. Mike Davis, Sadiq Youssef, Raoni Barcelos. I'm not sure if we had Castaneda or Santos. I can't remember on that one. Took the flyer on Oleski in this fight. He unfortunately lost pretty convincingly to Latifi. But I think we had a really good card. This week, we've got another great fight card. We've got Alexa Grasso taking on Araujo. Is that Araujo? How do I pronounce that? Can we look that up even? Phonetic. Araujo. How to pronounce? This is stuff I should do before the show. Alright. Can I listen to it? Araujo. Wait, you gotta hear this.
Araujo. Araujo.
Araujo.
Araujo.
Araujo. Grasso against Araujo. Looking forward to this. Let's just dive into the fights here. Mike Jackson taking on Pete Rodriguez. Mike Jackson with the enormous upset his last fight. Was up against Dean Barry, right? Yeah, Dean Barry. I'm kind of surprised they're putting him on the prelims again here, just considering the dude. I don't know if he's quite UFC material in all actuality. He won via eye poke. Like, Dean Barry got disqualified. I think he had a couple of groin shots that hurt Mike really bad too. Yeah, it was just an unfortunate kind of turn of events. I'm sorry, Curtis Blades. I gotta take off your sweatshirt. It's pretty warm. Smooth. All right. He's taking on Pete Rodriguez. Honestly, Pete Rodriguez is going to be a popular pick, I'm sure, for parlays and stuff like that. I would expect Pete Rodriguez to be able to put him away pretty early. It just hasn't been a very impressive run for Mike Jackson. Pete Rodriguez, he's 0-1 in the UFC. His only loss came to the hands of Jack Maddalena. Yeah, I think I think the odds are probably going to be quite crazy in this. So, Mike Jackson versus Pete Rodriguez here, you see it. Yeah, I mean, Mike Jackson is the heavy underdog in this fight. Yeah, I don't see really any scenario where Mike Jackson walks out with a victory unless it's another disqualification. This is I'm doing some hollerhead with a little bit of with an ice cube in it, one ice cube, just to smoothen it out, because it's not the smoothest whiskey you've ever tasted. You know who's got that. Sorry. Going back to Pete Rodriguez, let's look at the odds here. I don't think the odds makers are going to like this to go the distance. Yeah, no. I would say it's got to be the KO for Pete Rodriguez is the favored outcome. Maybe we're doing a fight parlay where we're tickling minus 165. Forget about it. There's no point. There's no point. This dude's the heavy favorite. I do think it's a win. So if you value, this type of line, a minus 660 outcome for, so yeah, $100 you're winning $15.50. But if you value that as a parlay piece, I mean it is possible. Like if you like Tatsuro in the next fight, I mean you could parlay it. I'm gonna go with Pete Rodriguez. I'm gonna go with Pete Rodriguez probably with an early stoppage. If I could, I think maybe I would do like Pete Rodriguez in under a round and a half in some sort of round robin at minus 250 here. Maybe I'm putting the minus 660 in a parlay, like a crazy parlay. I don't know if you saw this, but I've got some free bonuses, so I can definitely take some opportunity on those to put them towards some crazy parlays. Tatsuro Tara taking on CJ Vergara. I was kind of back and forth on this one, and I think Tatsuro's like the better fighters, better technically, jiu-jitsu, good kicker on the feet. But CJ Vergara's just a really tough fighter. If we pull up CJ's page here, his only loss inside the distance was a submission. That happened once. That was to some guy named Devin Miller on the LFA promotion. So, I mean, I kind of like fights that have CJ Vergara in them. I think CJ Vergara's pretty entertaining fighter. Is a dog, does tend to last the distance as a fighter. Tatsuro Tara is, I think clearly the more technical fighter in this match. I was kind of back and forth. Like, I kind of wanted to put CJ Vergara in here as a potential underdog win. I've changed my mind. I got to go with Tatsuro. I just think he's going to be more technical. I trust him to win at least 2 rounds. The grappling ability of Tatsuro, the jiu-jitsu, hopefully he can maybe secure a takedown or 2 when he gets gassed. But yeah, I'm going to go with Tatsuro. He's 1-0 in the UFC. Looked terrific in his debut. There's really no reason to fade him at all. It is, I think, a tough opponent, and I'm hesitant to lay minus 260 we saw that was on Tatsuro. But I like him in this fight. Maybe I'm inclined to take the over, and it looks like Vegas likes that too. If I'm going to fight props, I'd like it to go the distance. Vergara is just a tough opponent. So maybe we saw that loss via submission, understanding Tatsuro Tara does have 5 submission victories out of his 11 wins. Like maybe we sprinkle that, but I'm not really sure. I trust that Tatsuro is going to be the more technical fighter in this. I would say it's going to be either a submission or decision victory. I would say, are we going to... I don't think Vergara is going to get taken down early. I think he's probably going to get the legs chewed up a little bit earlier in the fight, and then maybe when Tatsuro is starting to slow down, he'll go for those takedowns just to secure points and win the round. If Tatsuro is getting tired, maybe it's that decision there at plus 110. I'm going with Tatsuro. I'm not going to parlay any piece of Tatsuro. I don't know if I'm going to even bet on this fight. Just because I do expect Tatsuro to get tested a little bit in this fight. If he's not putting CJ Vergara, if he's not getting out of there, in the first 2 rounds, I think the 3rd round's just going to be, it's going to be a big test for Tatsuro. I don't necessarily think I would live bet on CJ Vergara if he's down 2 rounds to nothing. I think Tatsuro could probably survive round 3, win via decision, but I don't know. It's something to pay attention to. Understanding Vergara is tough. He does have good cardio. Just something to watch as you're tuning in for the fight. But yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of parlays with Tatsuro. I know he's a popular pick. And yeah, there really is no excuse to fade him based on his last matchup. We've got Piera Rodriguez taking on Sam Hughes in the next fight. Let's just see. Let's see what the channel activity's like, right? Okay. Message received. Next fight we've got is Piera Rodriguez taking on Sam Hughes. Piera Rodriguez is 8-0. She's a Dana White Contender Series contestant from 2021, 1-0 in the UFC. Sam Hughes, 2-3 in the UFC. Sam Hughes started off 0-3, is on a 2-fight win streak. Kind of figuring out how to win, right, at this level. Definitely taking a lot of damage and just showing a lot of grit, a lot of toughness, making fights dirty, pushing her opponents against the cage, implementing the grappling as of late pretty effectively. I think this is maybe a tough opponent for her in Piera Rodriguez. We saw that she has, you see here, decent takedown defense. It's not terrific, but I think she can stuff Sam Hughes. I think Sam Hughes isn't the type of fighter that's going to persistently dig for takedowns, in my opinion. But I do think Sam Hughes' path to victory is securing those takedowns, pushing the fight against the fence, and not keeping this a boxing contest. Piera Rodriguez, good kicks. We're going to give her the stand-up advantage for sure. I'm going to roll with Piera Rodriguez to keep the fight standing. So we're going with the favorite again, minus 165. Sam Hughes, plus 140, underdog. Man, if I had to choose a method of victory in this fight, let's go on the Sure Dog, see their method, how they've lost. Sam Hughes, 1 KO, 1 submission. Don't think she's getting submitted. Does Piera Rodriguez hurt her? 5 KO victories for Piera Rodriguez. Does have some power. I'm guessing they like it to go the distance, so they like the decision. I like Piera Rodriguez in this. Maybe there's some value on that KO line, just considering Sam has been knocked out before, and her striking defense isn't the best. That knockout was a doctor stoppage, actually, now that I mentioned, we talk about that. She is super tough. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Say she goes the distance. So my prediction is going to be Piera Rodriguez via decision. I think if you like Sam Hughes, I don't know. You're hoping for her to win round 2, for Piera to just look gassed early in the fight, like starting to get tired in round 1. And I expect Sam Hughes to kind of get hurt early in the fight. And depending on how Rodriguez reacts to that, does she go for the finish, gas herself out? Like, that is a recipe for disaster, maybe against a fighter like Sam Hughes, but I think there's a high chance Rodriguez wins this fight. I just think there's a high chance she wins this. Experience-wise, there's, we're looking at a 3-fight difference, right? Sam Hughes obviously has a better resume fighting in the promotion for 5 fights, but gonna roll with Piera Rodriguez on that prediction. The next fight we've got is Joe Anderson Brito taking on Lucas Alexander. Joe Anderson Brito, 1-1 in the UFC, also from the Contender Series 2021 last season. Had a nice KO victory against Andre Fili in his last fight. Lost a tough debut to Algio. Super aggressive, solid grappler. He's taken on Lucas Alexander, who's making his debut against a really, really tough opponent. Alexander coming off of 3 KOs in a row in his professional fighting career. But prior to that, really wasn't putting people away. Those were all later KOs, I think, too. So maybe there's some chance he tires out. Yeah, 3rd round KO, 2nd round KO. Maybe there's a chance he tires out Joe Anderson Brito, but I really like Joe Anderson here. I just feel really confident he's going to win this fight. He could potentially put away Lucas Alexander, in my opinion, whether that's a submission or knockout. I just think Joe Anderson Brito is a dangerous fighter, and this is a sketchy debut for Lucas Alexander. This is a tough spot to be in. Looking at the odds, Joe Anderson Brito, heavy favorite at minus 380. I do like him as a parlay piece. It's always risky, right? Taking the guy who's making his debut, but I think Joe Anderson Brito is just another level. I would guess Vegas doesn't like this to go the distance. Yeah, minus 360. Winning method, I could see either a KO or a submission. So I would say maybe I'm attacking the fight parlays and looking for something like Joe Anderson Brito and under a round and a half, Where's that? Minus 115. Maybe I'm going to winning method here, and I'm just doing Joe Anderson Brito inside the distance at minus 165. As far as the parlay piece, probably just going to go money line in there just to cover my base. But, yeah, I guess I'm going to propose Joe Anderson Brito as my first parlay piece of the evening. Looking back on the other fights, I might do like a Pete Rodriguez, little sketched out by Tatsuro and CJ Vergara, but I understand why people like those fighters. In the next bout, we've got Nick Maximov taking on Jacob Malkoun. Yeah, I mean, last fight for Nick Maximov just wasn't good. It wasn't, he was a heavy favorite against Petrovsky, gets caught in an anaconda and just, choked out in the first round. Really unexpected. Big surprise. I picked him to win. I picked him to maybe find a submission of his own. He's taking on Jacob Malkoun here. Stylistically, I think I'm rolling with Jacob Malkoun in this. I just think his style is more like built for winning, if that makes sense, at this level. I feel like the wrestler is just going to have a little bit of an advantage if he can stay safe against the jiu-jitsu artist. If the fight plays out on the ground, Jacob Malkoun, he's one of those guys that just persistently shoots for takedowns. And so would Nick Maximov. I would actually say Nick Maximov probably, I would maybe give him a striking advantage. I'm not totally positive there. Malkoun trains with Whitaker, Maximov, obviously with the Diaz's. I don't know. It's, to me, Jacob Malkoun just seems like the fighter that I could see ending up in top position more frequently through the fight, just because the jiu-jitsu artist is maybe comfortable from the back, just searching for those submissions. Malkoun's going to have to stay safe, but I'm liking Malkoun in this. Also, if we're looking at Malkoun's record, no submission losses in his career. Nick Maximov, I don't think he's going to get finished necessarily. I probably like the decision in this fight to go the distance. If it doesn't, I'm guessing it's because Nick Maximov caught Jacob Malkoun, so I think if you like Nick Maximov, it's maybe worth sprinkling the submission victory for him. The odds makers like this one to go the distance as well. Yeah, and like I said, I like the Malkoun decision. If you like Maximov, why not sprinkle the submission? I don't know if, in all seriousness, I don't know if Malkoun trains with someone that's going to be more dangerous as a submission threat than Nick Maximov. I don't know. Could be, he could be in foreign territory in there. But I like Malkoun. What was Malkoun? Is he the favorite? Oh, he's a slight underdog. So we got a dog on here. Next fight we've got is Mana Martinez taking on Brandon Davis. Mana Martinez, he's on a one-fight losing streak. Just lost to Ronnie Lawrence. Tough opponent. 1-1 in the UFC. Really solid power. Good boxing, kind of. Yeah, I just think you can see here the 89% knockout rate. Brandon Davis, 0-1 in the UFC. Faced a tough opponent in Badrigal, Dana. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I think if Brandon Davis is going to win this fight, it needs to play out on the mat. If he's not getting this fight to the mat, I think Mana Martinez wins this fight. Just based on his history of how he wins fights, I would say there's a chance we see that KO method of victory. Brandon Davis coming into this with 9 losses. His only knockout loss was to Badgergol. But what are the odds makers like? See what Vegas is thinking. So Mana's the favorite at -150. That's going to be my pick. Fight props. It's basically a pick 'em. Does it go the distance or not? Wow. I mean, we've seen Martinez drop opponents before. Could he catch Brandon Davis? I think so. It may be too risky to reach on the method of victory here. Plus 215, plus 225. Choosing between the KO or decision victory. In my opinion, it's tough. I'm gonna roll with Mana Martinez in this. That method of victory obviously is, I see it. I'm just anticipating maybe Brandon Davis is somewhat safe in this fight, but I'm not sure. Probably a fight I'm going to avoid betting on tomorrow night. Rafael Assunção taking on Victor Henry. Assunção, 4-fight losing streak, 40 years old. Just isn't looking good lately. Don't love his gas tank, especially against a fighter like Victor Henry, who's 1-0 in the UFC. Solid win against Raoni Barcelos in his debut. Just incredible movement, cardio. If Assunção's not putting him out in round 1 or early in a round, I predict Victor Henry wins this pretty convincingly. We've also seen Assunção get knocked out lately. I think the method of victory is just a decision win for Victor Henry. Just use your output, use your volume, your pace, your cardio. Just outstrike the dude and stay safe early. I like Victor Henry in this fight. I like him a lot. He's going to be the heavy favorite here, I'm sure. I think I saw that. -410, yeah. I would say the fight does go the distance. Yes, -125. Vegas agrees, but they think there's maybe a chance it doesn't. Yeah, the win by decision there is what I think I'd be prone to do. If we're looking at Victor Martinez, where is it? Huh. Oh, they call him Victor Henry. Why am I calling him Victor Martinez? The hell? Am I confusing him with Mana? I am. Victor Henry. What am I doing? Sorry about that. Victory versus Raoni Barcelos. 6 KO victories. Yeah, and then I just want to show you Assunção. Just not looking great lately. Marlon Moraes, I think he's on 1, and he might have retired from 1 fighting already. Granted, Sandhagen and Ricky Simone, those are tough opponents. Cody Garbrandt, that was Cody's last victory. That was that end of the round KO. Or it wasn't an end. Yeah, it was end around. 4:59 there. damn. Gotta like Victor Henry in this. I think I like Victor Henry's output. He's just got to stay safe. Can't get knocked out, right? Victor Henry, 5 losses. What was the method of victory? Yeah, 5 decisions. Okay. So he's never been finished. I think I like the decision victory for Victor Henry. Just circumstances are telling me, like, I shouldn't disrespect a Sensao that much where I'm putting Victor Henry in a parlay piece, but maybe I'm doing it. Maybe I'm doing it. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm doing it. Next fight we've got is Misha Serkinov taking on Alonzo Menningfield. Interesting fight. Misha Serkinov, great jiu-jitsu, grapple-heavy approach for sure. You can see the takedowns per 15 minutes. Not great on the feet. I want to just talk about his recent performances. 2-6 in his last 8. 4 KO losses, 1 submission loss. I don't think Alonzo Menningfield's going to submit this guy, but he's been chinny. He's been very chinny. Really tough opponents, right? Ozdemir, Glover Teixeira, Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann, Jotko, Turman. Tough opponents, no doubt about it. But just understanding how chinny he is, knowing who he's going up against in Alonzo Menningfield, he's got a high KO rate, very powerful. I think I'm going with Menningfield in this fight. Probably an early KO victory for him. If he doesn't get the KO, he does have a tendency to tire himself out. So I kind of like something inside the distance as well. If it's obvious to me, I'm sure it's obvious to Vegas, but you never know. So Menningfield, we're going with the favorite, minus 195. Fight props, it doesn't go that, minus 360. It's obvious to Vegas as well. I like that early Menningfield KO, so maybe we can do Menningfield and under a round and a half. I just like something early. Menningfield rounds 1 or 2 plus 110. Just like something early for Menningfield. Maybe it's the same game parlay. Let's see what options we have. We could do Menningfield. We could do under 2.5. We could do the method of victory KO. We could do Menningfield with the most knockdowns, right? Because if he's getting the knockout victory, that's the most knockdowns. Output wise, too close. But I do think Misha Serkinov needs to shoot for those takedowns. Menningfield's solid takedown defense. Just don't gas out. And Misha Serkinov, if you like him, you're just hoping he's drilling those takedowns over and over and over again, just repeatedly wearing on the gas tank of Alonzo Menningfield. But we're going to go with Menningfield, early KO. Jordan Wright taking on Dusko Todorovic. Jordan Wright heading into this fight, he's 2-3 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak after winning a couple times. Not any impressive victories, in my opinion, on the resume. If we're comparing the two resumes, Isaac Villanueva, Jamie Pickett, great. But just, and in fairness, Dusko hasn't won against, really. Well, he beat Michel Pereira back in the day, but he hasn't won against anyone recently that good. Ground and pound artists, get the fight to the mat, show off the big power, and just start smashing. That's what Dusko likes to do, right? Jordan Wright, terrific kicker. Dustin, he hasn't had the best striking defense, but in fairness, like, the opponents are tough. Chidi, Gregory Rodriguez, Soriano, those are hard punchers, right? Decent stand-up approach for those guys. I think Dusko and Jordan Wright are destined to end inside the distance. I think I'm going to roll with Dustin in this fight to get the fight to the mat and be the one who ground and pounds Jordan Wright to a KO method of victory. Jordan Wright, what does he bring to the table? Probably a better stand-up approach than Dusko Wright. Terrific kicker. Probably kind of dangerous for Dusko to fight on the feet, but I'm rolling with Dusko on my prediction. Let's get rid of that. Dusko is the favorite at minus 210. Fight props, they don't like it to the distance, minus 800. That's kind of crazy. Winning method, I think the KO method of victory is realistic. You could do either fighter at minus 250 here for the exact method of victory. Maybe that's the round robin piece, right? Maybe it's just Dusko straight up. If you like Jordan Wright, obviously, I think I've already said I think the method of victory is a knockout win for either fighter. Yeah, okay. I'm stupid. I was like, if I bet $1, how much do I win? $2, obviously. I was just seeing if you bet on both fighters, if there was a way to just cover the odds. But Dusko, 210, rolling with him. There was a fight that was canceled, which is a bummer. That was going to be Askar Askarov taking on Brandon Royval. I'm a big fan of Brandon Royval, but we've got a couple of good main events. Cub Swanson is taking on Jonathan Martinez here. Cub Swanson's making his debut at 135 pounds. He won his last fight, but he's definitely, I would say, trending towards the older side, and he's making his debut at a new weight class, right? How's that going to translate? What's that going to look like? Jonathan Martinez, I'm a fan of his. I think he's an entertaining fighter, really good kicker, is a little bit chinny, so he does need to stay away from the power shots of Cub Swanson, who we saw. That was a nice victory. Was that against Darren Elkins, his last time out? I believe it was. And yeah, he hurt Elkins bad. And Elkins isn't, the nickname's The Damaged. He's got pretty awful stand-up defense. But still, Jonathan Martinez has to be careful in this fight. Cub Swanson, what's the power going to look like? What's the speed going to look like? I got a lot of questions on the Cub Swanson side. Jonathan Martinez, there's less questions in my opinion. I think he could win a decision in this fight. He's the younger fighter. I think he's going to be the more efficient fighter as far as the stand-up approach. And I think he just needs to stay standing. But, Cub's making his debut, going from 145 to 135. We'll see what happens. I think this is a risky fight to bet on. Cub Swanson plus 180. Jonathan Martinez minus 210. Yeah, if I'm liking the Cub Swanson side, I'm like thinking, hey, I think he's going to knock out Jonathan Martinez, but like, if he's not able to do that, is he going to be the things that made him look really good in that Darren Elkins fight? Are they going to translate at 135 against a guy like Jonathan Martinez? I'm going to say no. I'm rolling with Martinez here on the money line pick, which I think I'm only going with one underdog on this fight card, but rolling with Jonathan Martinez here. I would say the decision is what I like. Odds makers like this one to go the distance as well. As far as the fight line or method of victory, yeah, I would say Jonathan Martinez decision. We'll find out. Right here, I've got my Twitter handle. I'm going to do a little plug here. If you follow me on Twitter, I always post my picks ahead of the fight. So if you just kind of want to follow my bets, feel free to do it here. I don't do I don't post ridiculous parlays, but I do. Okay, that's a lie. I do post some ridiculous parlays, right? I would say like anywhere from 3 to 5 parlays is what I'm posting. I'll post a round robin approach that I like, and I'll do some single line bets. I'll post those out there. I think our returns have been very, very good. And I find the more conservative I am in my betting, the more I win. So maybe going to dwindle that number down a little bit, but I just get so excited building out different betting lines, and then you get like fucking football parlays in there. We got boxing tomorrow. It's a dangerous place to reside when you've got an account balance and you like betting. Alexa Grasso taking on Viviane Araujo. Alexa Grasso heading into this fight, she is on a 3-fight win streak. Viviane on a 1-fight win streak. Things I like about Alexa Grasso: very technical, good boxer, very tough. Things I like about Araujo, very explosive, very strong, great athlete. I think this is a 5-round fight. I think Viviane's going to get a little bit tested in this. Araujo, I could see Araujo being really, really good in this fight, really being really competitive for like the first couple of rounds. I think if Araujo's not able to secure takedowns, that's a problem. I'm rolling with Grasso. I'm rolling with Grasso to probably win via decision, right? To handedly take the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, perhaps even the 2nd. Trying to think. If there's a couple of takedowns for Araujo, I could see maybe that split decision being in play. But I'm just skeptical that Araujo is going to have the gas tank to really assemble any sort of big-time round late in this fight. Grasso is the favorite at -230. Odds makers like this one to go the distance. I do as well. Yeah, like I said, maybe... What was that? Where's it under? Is it under fight props, split or majority decision, plus 400? I mean, it's a stupid bet, but I'm just thinking, like, if Araujo is able to secure takedowns, like, maybe there's some sort of split decision from a scorecard, but I would say Alexa Grasso decision, method of victory, plus 100 here. Or if you like fight parlays, do an Alexa and over. I think the output will be really good for Alexa. I think her output will shine through in this fight, especially in 5 rounds. And Viviane, she'll just have to, I think she'll just have to, if she's going to win, she's going to have to take a different approach heading into this fight. So, yeah, it's an interesting fight. I think it's a really good fight. But I'm going to go with Grasso as my prediction here. I think this is the part. Let's check the itinerary. Yeah, I gotta maybe put a couple of parlay ideas out there. Let's check UFC here. I do also want to point out Devin Haney, Deontay Wilder, Clarissa Shields. They're all boxing tomorrow. They're all, I think, heavy favorites, but they're all boxing tomorrow. So we got Pete Rodriguez. I said I liked him. Tatsuro Tara. Liked Piero Rodriguez. Liked Brito a lot. Liked Malkoon. Liked Henry. Liked Mana. Liked Manyfield. Liked Dusko. Martinez. And Grasso. I think these are maybe the fights that I like. Tatsuro scares me, I said, actually. Like, if it scares me, just better off being more risk averse, I would suppose. So, like, these are the kind of parlays I like. Just to point it out, I like doing, like, 2-fight round robins for that, just so you're evenly dividing risk across the board. So I just want to show a worst case scenario. The Pete Rodriguez, Victor Henry. So you do $10 a line. You're getting 432 there. Otherwise, I'm sure the other parlay opportunities are pretty good. Here, like, let's get rid of Pete. Let's do best case scenario, right? So that would be Jonathan and Alexa. Plus 110. So those are some parlay ideas. I haven't really thought about it. Like I said, if you just want to give this Twitter handle a follow, I'll let you know what my bets are tomorrow. Now we've got the famous and dangerous segment, right? Why would Kings fans boo Russell Westbrook? Anyways, let's get the trending topics pulled up here. Let's pull it up so you can see my feed a little better. Let's go to trending. SmackDown. Oh, the Georgia debate. Senator Raphael Warnock taking on Republican challenger Herschel Walker for their first debate. Oh boy, finally, my Herschel Walker bullshit decoder ring is finally here. I don't know what that means. This was a good moment from it. Herschel Walker busted out his badge. So I think there was some confusion around this. I don't know if Herschel Walker is a police officer or not. I don't think he is. I think someone accused him of like this other guy accused him of being a fake police officer, so he like busted out his badge. I don't think this thing's legit. It was referred to as a prop, and in fairness, like, I think a real police badge would have been referred to as a prop in the setting of this debate. I don't know enough about Herschel Walker to comment on that, but it was a pretty funny video. I think it'd be cool to see the video, but I think that was kind of...
On the government, what I want you to do, and I think that is the problem. And what Senator Warnock wants you to do is depend on the government. What I want you to do is get off the government health care and get on the health care he's got. And I think...
I guess, yeah, I don't know if... Oh, here we go.
Pretended to be a police
Here we
officer
go.
accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on,
I have
gentlemen.
to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker, please, out of respect, I need to let you know, Mr. Walker, you are very well aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Yes.
That is not allowed, sir. I ask you to put that prop away.
Well, it's not a problem. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never worked with law enforcement.
It is considered a prop, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you aware of the
he
rules?
brought up the truth, but let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that prop away. And as a matter of fact, we still have a lot to get to, and we are not going to...
I don't know. So it says Herschel Walker said he was a University of Georgia graduate, but that wasn't true. The Georgia Republicans... Alright, let's see. I worked with the Cobb County Police Department. He was an honorary deputy. I mean, I guess that's possible, and like he got a badge from it. That's kind of funny. So, yeah, his opponent, Warnock, I actually remember this guy. This guy is a pastor who believes in abortion. So, good luck, Georgia. Tough candidates to pick between. The next fight we've got, let's see. We've got Blake Snell. Oh, what's going on in that baseball game? Let's check it out. It's 2-0 in favor of the Padres, if you can't see that. 2-0 in favor of the Padres. Kind of crazy. Goslin was the starting pitcher, and you can see here, I'll show you the Dodgers box score. 1.1 innings pitched, 4 hits given up, a run, just got yanked. Back in here. That's what the Dodgers coach said. So now they're trying to win the game with some backups. That's tough. Mookie Betts, incredible ball player. I have a small wager on the San Diego Padres to win it all. So, and I made it. Maybe it was like plus 1,400. It's only $10, but it's $140 I win. Yeah, they're my pick. I just think they got a stacked lineup. I think Juan Soto is probably one of the best hitters in the game, and he's a proven playoff hitter. So let's see what else is going on. Blue Bloods, Heaney, Halloween Ends. Let's talk about Tulsi leaving the party.
Spooky how prevalent that. Yeah, it's very spooky, and it's spooky how prevalent. that mindset is, and how many Democrats, not even just politicians, just people that are Democrats, how many people share that position that you should silence people that you don't agree with. And it's such a foolish perspective, and it plays out historically over and over and over again in a terrible way. And I just don't understand why people don't learn that lesson.
I think that the Democratic Party leaders, people like Hillary Clinton, people who've been in charge for a very long time, foment this kind of culture of fear and like, hey, if you go against us, like, you're dead. You're on the shit list. You have kind of the very loud activists who don't represent, I think, even the majority of the Democratic Party, but...
Okay, that's kind of crazy. But anyways, if you didn't hear, Tulsi Gabbard, I thought she was a great Democratic representative. She's no longer with the party, leaves the party. Say what you want about it, but congrats to her. Like, I love that she assessed the situation and she decided it wasn't, she wasn't able to support that party anymore. I just, as an independent thinker, appreciate her willingness to, she's in a high profile spot. I appreciate her willingness to just be truthful, come out, say how she feels, make the change, say what you want about the timing of it. I have my own thoughts on the timing of things. I think economically we're going to be in a lot of trouble after November 8th. I'm wondering how long we can keep gas prices in check. I'm wondering how long, CPI data came out this week and it was worse than expected. And I don't even think we've gotten to this period of time where our oil reserves are at the lowest they've been since 1984. I don't even think we've gotten to the point where we start feeling the full effects of inflation in the oil industry. I think it's going to get pretty messy this winter. OPEC cutting oil production, because why wouldn't you, right? If none of your competitors are producing oil and you could do the half the work and make the same amount of money, why wouldn't you? So those are my general thoughts. Let's do some charting with Bill. So I'm doing, I'd love to empower the audience, teach them a new skill. So as I'm watching the markets, I just want to kind of show you all what I'm looking at here. There we go. So this is our S&P 500. This is a collection of the top 500 companies in the United States that have the highest market cap as far as dollars, total dollar worth. Right? Is that correct? Or is it? And it excludes ETFs, so it's not like any mutual funds or anything like that. It's just a collection of companies, right? Industries in the United States. You might argue it's a little technology heavy, which I would agree with, but I've been using this 1348 EMA strategy that I learned from Short the VIX. Really like that guy's stream, and I've just been using it, and I just want to talk about, really quickly, we're starting, I got a lot of lines drawn here, and it doesn't make any sense to everyone. I understand that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But basically these horizontal lines, I'm just looking for historical points of support and resistance that I've seen. And I'm primarily targeting stuff that's within range, right? Like maybe a 20 to 30 point range. So you're not going to see anything really below 300 at this time as far as support and resistance lines. So, I mean, Feds are raising rates, which is making money a hell of a lot more expensive to borrow. That's having a slowing effect on the economy. We're starting to approach this territory. We're at 357. I've talked about this before on the show, but we're at 357. Is there a bull rally heading into the election season? Maybe there is, but I would expect that to fizzle out at best case scenario around 400 points, and then we're going to go on another bear run here. By definition, we're already in a recession. We've had 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. I would expect that to be a third quarter here, given some of the earnings reports we've heard back from quarter 2, and the fact, like, I really don't see any positive catalysts or opportunities for companies to make a lot of money and for industry to make a lot of money here in the United States. It looks like the SPY continued to drop in after hours today. I think if we're not going to see a breakdown where the SPY drops to like 325, which is pre-COVID level, so that's like we're going back to 2019 to find where that like price occurred, and then there was a rapid ascent obviously out of COVID. That was, that's kind of gotten us into this mess in a way. And I'm talking about this right here, this period of time. Let's scroll in here. So this is when shutdowns were announced. Bunch of insider trading. We dropped to 210. I don't think we're gonna drop to 210. But I do think we're gonna. It wouldn't surprise me if we see this here, this 325, and then I think you got to think of the long-term effects. Like, if we're not done dealing with inflation and the Feds are going to continue to have high interest rates next year throughout 2023. I mean, that's where we start to look sub 300, and we start to look at, I think the next gap down here, the next downturn we experience, is where the panic kicks in and people start to panic sell. I think right now you're at this point where you have a choice to make. You can either preserve the profits you made from buying this dip here. You're somewhere in here, right? In this V. A lot of purchases were made. A lot of selling here. A lot of purchases were made right here. So I think you gotta assess this gap right here. And I think if we see that breakdown, like, I think this is the break. To be frank, I think this is the breakdown here. I think this is the panic phase, right? And then we can maybe recover around this level. But I want to see what gas prices look like this winter, because I'm just thinking, like, inflation's going to be bad coming out of winter, coming out of Q4, coming out of Q1. And then where do we end up at that point? Because we're not far from this pre-COVID level. And then the next step is 300 and below 300. And then it starts to turn like, it's just a dicey scenario to be in, because just because you're not like trading in this market, there's unmanned algorithms that are trading, there are institutions that are trading on the volatility, and there are institutions that are just extremely over leveraged, and they can't afford losses on their individual stock investments. And that's where you just start to see like a lot of volatility and breakdowns in the market. So some positions I've opened recently, and I'll just briefly talk about the 1348 strategy. Let's start with SARK. So Cathie Wood is a contrarian investor. I'm actually a big fan of Cathie Wood, but I'm working off of this strategy that's just gives me a buy signal and a sell signal, right? And do I like the investments Cathie Wood has? I mean, right now it's hard to argue yes. Do I believe in some of the companies she's investing in? Yeah. Tesla, I believe in. Coinbase, I believe in. Robinhood, I don't so much believe in. Bitcoin, I believe in Bitcoin. I still believe in cryptocurrency. I closed out my short position on crypto, but yeah, I mean, so this is, again, here. This is the dip around COVID, right? March 2020, dip. And then it just went on a tear. And I think we all were buying, right? I think I bought it I bought so much between like $60 and $80. And then we just started to experience, the price breakdowns. And I exited above $100. But, right now it's just in a totally different situation. I think if you look at some of her investments, like Tesla, do I have Tesla on here? Let's pull it up. I think if you look at some of her, like, she owns a ton of Tesla. And while I don't think we're gonna just like skip past 200 and 175 and just drop down to 150 without warning, I do think end of year $150 for Tesla is in play. That's a 25% loss today, right? And that's a big portion of ARK's profile, right? Let's look at Coinbase. They just had the Google deal this week that was announced, but the value of their assets is way down. You think, this was a SPAC, right? And Cathie Wood's buying it all up in here. $300 plus she's buying it at. I think they might have gone public through her SPAC company. But just a huge downturn here. Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's not very healthy right now. So I'm looking at ARK right here. I'm looking at where our historical points of support are. And, we haven't seen sub $30 since even before the COVID dip. We're going back to 2017 here is where we saw sub $30, right? I do like Cathie Wood a lot. I like her picks. I just think this is a byproduct of the market we're in, and my signals are telling me bet against her. So I opened about a month and a half ago a SARK position, which SARK is just it's short ARK, and it's called SARK. It's just an ETF that's short ARK. And yeah, you can just see, so I use the daily chart, and as I bought like as soon as I saw this crossover, so I did experience a little bit of a loss maybe a week or two into my trade, and then but there wasn't that crossover again, and we just continued to trend upward in price. There was probably a sell opportunity yesterday or today, but just given like the news cycle, what I feel like, where I feel like the economy's heading, and what for the companies I had shown up there, I was just showing you, I think there's a lot of downside to some of those companies still. I would like this to continue to be a great investment. Another thing, I opened up probably like 3 weeks ago was VIXI. VIXI is a volatility index. It moves inversely from the S&P 500. If you look at VIXI, if you invest in it like long term, you're losing money. So this is again March 2020, just surges up in price. You can see that, right? So I'm looking to collect and take advantage of what I perceive to be well, let's look at the SPY. Let's look at the SPY. Could I be wrong? Could we experience a bull run from here up to this 400, this 200-day EMA, which will probably at that point be, less than 405. Let's call it less than this 408 mark here. I would say, do we experience that bull run heading into the end of November? And maybe. I'm just very skeptical. So I'm kind of wondering in my head right now if I opened up this position a little too early, but I got that 1348 EMA cross. You can see this yellow line crossed above the green line. But you can also see, it tends to break down right around the 200 EMA there. We're still kind of trading inside of this wedge that I've drawn. So I think a break to the downside would cause me to close my position, which is, this 1348 strategy, I'm swinging, just trying to collect basically, 6 points, 8 points, 10 points in a in a time where people are losing money. So if I see a breakdown outside of this wedge, I might sell just to collect my 3 points, and then assume, we're gonna go on this bull run again, and then I'll just open up again around 400 here, which at that point I would expect VIXI. VIXI drops hard. So if we hit 400, I'm probably looking to get back in sub 1303. Like, that's the strategy, is what I think. So yeah, just a couple of plays that I'm doing right now. Let me know what you think. I closed my short Bitcoin position. It looks like the 1348 strategy is still playing out okay. This looks like there's just not enough historical trading behind it, and it just seems like Bitcoin is in this huge it just seems like it's in this consolidation wedge. I do think it's falling. The more times it comes down to test the 1750 number, 17500 number, the more likely it is to drop through there. So I definitely perceive it as a risky investment right now. High risk, high reward, but I would say higher risk right now. Like, it's not It's not worth it. Let it recapture, this. I don't know. I think there's a strong possibility. Like, I still anticipate a panic phase in our market, and I just think there's a strong possibility a lot of these overvalued things just get sold off for liquidity purposes. So yeah, that's it. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream tonight. I'll do a show on Sunday. We'll do another show with Johnny, my brother, so tune into that probably around 10 a.m. We'll get that taken care of. 10:15, maybe 10:30. I don't know. Tune into that. That's same channel here, KO Bets. Let me just double check how we're doing on subscribers. Still at 48, so no drawing tonight. But as I get subscribers, we'll do the drawing here eventually. Thanks for tuning in. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel. I'm doing that NFT giveaway. You'll qualify for a chance to win that. Like the video. Helps out with the algorithm, whatever that means. And enjoy your Friday nights. Enjoy your weekend. Let's win some money. Check out my Twitter. I'll give you my picks on there tomorrow. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you all on Sunday. Peace.
This is a hot beat.